askSlim, Trader Psychology. So I'm often asked, what does it take to be a successful trader? What are the personal traits that people have in common? I work with a lot of traders, of course. I get to see a lot of that. This segment is about that, looking at the personal traits that can bring us success or actually may create challenges in our life. Often get the question from people that are having difficulty, well, what's wrong with me? What is going on inside of me that has me making these mistakes or not being able to do well where I see other people are doing well in the market? What we're going to look at here is kind of an overlay to some other work that I do. I'm certified in emotional intelligence. It's called EI or EQ. This is versus IQ, which is, we'll call it quite different, because IQ is considered the level of intelligence that we can reach, that we can get to, and is considered to be pretty much static, stable throughout our life. EQ is different. EQ is made up of 5 major personality segments, of which those are skills, major skill sets, and inside of of each of them there are about 5 other sub-skills. So what we're going to look at here is some of those sub-skills, and then talk about what the traits are, the behaviors associated with them, and how that shows up for traders. That's basically what this segment is going to be about. Not too long of a segment, but I think it's going to have very, very valuable information for you. So let's take a look at these personality traits that successful traders have. But move this over and you can see as we go into the list of positive personality traits. We're going to look at 4 of them on each one, and the first one we're going to look at is optimism. So optimism is being hopeful about the future, expecting a favorable outcome. Often I talk about the law of attraction. Essentially that says we get what we create and what we believe. We create our own reality. So if we believe in a certain positive outcome, we're going to act in ways that actually help us achieve that outcome. So that's the importance of optimism. The traits are that we easily move past adversity, we're persistent and determined and courageous, and we're also humble and easily allow joy into our lives. That's the traits of people that are optimistic. Traders that are optimistic easily accept losses. Well, of course they would, then, because they're optimistic, their next trade will be something positive, that they'll be able to find what the next opportunity is, and they're willing to celebrate taking these losses because they take the losses correctly. That's an important aspect of being a successful trader, being optimistic and knowing that you took a loss, you took it in the right way. The next trait is flexibility. That's being able to cope. It's coping and adjusting to the circumstances as they are. It's exhibiting a high level of mobility. So the traits are, for these people that are flexible, they're adaptable, adventurous. In other words, they're willing to try things, be experimental, even if it seems dangerous to them. I mean, in trading, some things could seem dangerous, even if you're just simply getting out of your comfort zone of the particular trading vehicle you're in that maybe is not working for you so well. Traders are willing to make changes. They don't care if the change is wrong. They easily adjust their plan, their expected rate of return. Maybe they're being, too optimistic about their rate of return. Maybe they have too high of an expectation. Maybe the market environment can't allow that. So they'll be flexible. They'll adapt. They'll change the way they're moving in and out of the market. Their trading vehicle, they may be willing to change that. And their style, style meaning what your holding period is, and the type of studies or method that you use within that style. All of that takes flexibility, and if you're stuck, and not flexible, well, that will be a problem. We're going to look at that actually when we get into the negative side, the challenges, traits that are challenges. So the next one that we're going to look at is they have a high level of self-esteem. In other words, it's a high sense of self-worth, a sense of value. Self-worth meaning that you get your own sense of self, your own sense of value from an internal. It's unrelated to the externals, to what other people think or to what they may see in the results. It's really about how you know yourself, and that helps you to stay in this place of being being at a high level, of really not letting any of the negatives in, because you know what you have internally. The traits are, well, they have a high level of emotional understanding and fitness. That's emotional fitness is a term that really I coined, and that really means that you understand your emotions and you adapt to your emotions as they change and as they come up very, very quickly. You see your reactions and you're willing to look inward at what causes them. People that have a high sense of self-esteem are calm and focused and patient. Traders who have this great personal trait react to problems quickly. Because it's not, when the problem comes, they don't let it be attached to who they are. They control their losses. They filter out the market noise, and that market noise often scares people that don't have this high sense of self-esteem. And then they're able to maximize gains because, well, they hold on to winners. So the next thing we're going to look at in here is the sense of discipline. Now, discipline, there's a much broader meaning than just taking a loss correctly. This is basically obeying your code of behavior, the way that you design that you want yourself to live. The traits for people that do this is they have a very strong work ethic. They're very self-nurturing. In other words, their actions that they take will be in line with the disciplines that they create and taking care of themselves. It's about being self-nurturing. So many people that don't have a strong sense of this and don't have a good sense of self-worth have a problem with being self-nurturing, like they don't deserve taking care of themselves, or they don't deserve looking at themselves and seeing that there are changes they can make that would benefit themselves. These people that are high in discipline are very active learners and always developing, very, very well informed. And we know how important that is when we're talking about the market. Traders who follow all aspects of their design and discipline and plan are very, very successful traders. They go through a lot of mental and physical preparation, and they do a ton of research. They design and redesign their plan because, well, they have a lot of adaptability. They're willing to change. They follow that plan, and they have accountability. They're accountable to themselves. They're accountable to their significant others or spouses, to their trading partners, business partners, or their coaches, or their trading buddies. They're always out front and upfront with what is going on for them in trading, and they're really, really good at managing their expectations. That we talked about that before, about what you expect as far as the returns, and if it turns out the market is not allowing that, well, then that might bring other ways that you can approach the market that would be really, really beneficial to changing. So that is a look at the four traits that are important, that are positive traits. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the personality traits that may bring challenges. Many of us have things that go on inside of ourselves that we continue to follow patterns that may not be the healthiest patterns that we can follow, and we end up not really understanding why we're not able to make changes, what things are going on inside of us that keep us repeating patterns that, well, get us in trouble in life, get us in trouble in trading. So we're going to look at these personality traits that may bring challenges to us. First one we're going to look at is traders, people that are highly emotional. Well, they have a lot of difficulty in life and a lot of difficulty in trading. Now, when I say highly emotional, I don't want to say that emotions are not good for us. Emotions are great for us, actually. It's our emotions that guide us, that give us warnings about things in life, that help us feel joy in life. We can't live without emotions, and if you want to see the 5 major core emotions and the associated emotions to them, please go and look at, I think it's the first video I posted in this series, and learn about the basics of emotions and how they show up in trading. I think that's a really valuable segment. Somebody who's highly emotional, their emotions come really, really quickly. It's often to the point of flooding and dysfunction. So in other words, there's so much emotion that we're in that thinking is very difficult. It's very, very hard for us to get beyond the looking inward part that goes with somebody that's highly emotional. It brings a lot of dysfunction. What happens is essentially the source is from some personal trauma or loss in our life and our history. Finding out about that is really an important part of being able to move beyond this, where that comes from, and how we're often living to some lie or something that happened in our life that will really blow up in impact in our life from the past, that if we can bring it back into perspective in our life, it would be very, very beneficial. The traits of a person that's highly emotional as well, they're low in emotional fitness. Certainly emotion comes up and they don't know how to deal with it. They don't have a lot of muscle built up around the emotion where they can stop it, head it off, say, boy, I understand that. Well, because they have low understanding of emotions, where they've come from, because they've had a desire to not look back, to not get a sense to the source. So they have an inability to affect their emotions as they come up. Consequently, the traits are that type of a person can be unfocused. They have no objectivity since they're unable to see through the emotions. And objectivity is such an important thing for us to have as we are a trader, to be able to see the value of a certain condition of a market. Traders are a very, very emotionally based anyway. If we have a great sense of emotional fitness, a great sense of how to deal with that, that helps us with a positive batting average. We have, really, really strong results. But traders that are emotionally based and really can't control it have very low batting averages. They have more losses than winners because they're reacting to noise in the market, because they're trading emotionally, and their losses are often bigger than their winners because emotion keeps them in the losses too long, because the consequence of losing is too big, and that consequence coming from something in our past. And so the losses are bigger than our winners, and because we get out of our winners in a way that's emotionally based if we're allowing our emotions to come up and be really strong in our trading. The next thing is a next trait that brings challenges is someone that's pessimistic. This is the expectations that of the worst of things. And you tend to get exactly what you don't want. Again, back to the law of attraction. We create our reality. So if we expect things to not come out right, we act in ways that help them come out wrong, come out incorrectly, because we don't believe in a positive action. We believe, why should we take actions that may be positive for us? Because the expectations are so poor. The traits are for people is that they believe that they cause their own problems, or they're a victim of externals. That's such a common thing. A lot of blaming goes on in that case. They have no control, they believe. believe. And they believe, and this is an important, these are what's known as the 3 Ps, that problems are personal, that it's about them, that it's pervasive. In other words, not only is it in this issue, but it's in all issues in their life, and the problems are perpetual. In other words, they will go on forever. They don't believe they can ever change them. If you want to learn about this, read the book Learned Optimism, where they talk about the 3 Ps in there, and I think a really, really valuable book. And this is, goes very well into these traits of people that are optimistic and how to get there. Traders, well, they don't stay with their plan, and they get into this cycle of quitting. And then calm down, try to come back again, and then, things start to go difficult, and well, then they quit again. The next trait is low self-esteem, people that have challenges. A low sense of personal value is what that means. You cannot, you have a hard time holding on to the parts of you that have brought a lot of successes. And we all have successes in our life, but we tend to downplay those. We don't believe in who we are. This is you often in the sense of not liking yourself, and that is really a cause for not really being willing to look inward and find the things that we believe about ourselves that are really not true, but we've held on to for a long time in our lives. The traits are, people that have low sense of self-esteem. Well, of course, they're looking for external validation. And what that means is that, they need to do well in the market to feel good about themselves. And when they're not doing well in the market, they can't get the validation from the success, and often they shut down. They look for ways to numb. They act addictively, and act as if they're unconscious. As a matter of fact, in many ways, they are unconscious because that's what the numbing brings. Their behaviors are, they are impatient, self-centered, blaming, and often in fear, shame, and anger. Traders that are in this low self-esteem are often stuck in emotions and disconnected from the market, unable to see and act on problems or on opportunities. Boy, how many of us can think about times that we were in that place? And the next one is inflexibility, the opposite of what we talked about as a positive trait, flexibility. It's inability to change or adapt. Traits, we're rigid. Even the thought of change brings a strong emotional reaction. Because we're focused on being in a specific comfort zone, and change takes us out of there. We're always focused on the risks and the consequences, which really come out of our past. It's how we bring our history into our future, and often those consequences are way overblown. We're reacting to false assumptions that have very, very inflated consequences. Often the way we saw them as we're children, and often our little child is with us trading. Question is, do you want your little child trading? And that's a question I often ask people that I'm coaching. Traders that are inflexible they simply are just plain stuck. They don't look at new plans, strategies, or styles, and they stay in a comfort zone, in their comfort zone, even if staying there brings challenges. Traders that are inflexible have very low batting averages. They're not willing to change. They're not willing to see ways to keep themselves in winning trades for longer periods of time, or even adding to them. They're not willing to see ways that they can make changes to be in different trading vehicles or different styles that will help them to manage their risk better, or to get out of trades that are bad, losing trades very, very quickly. So these are a lot of difficulties that traders have, and right there were 4 different challenges, traits that traders have that are often challenges. So now, we've looked at 4 personal traits that are positive, bring success. and 4 that are that bring challenges. I don't really want to say negative. I mean, they're just parts of ourselves that we don't quite really understand. If you pick up a lot on, well, you don't have some of these positive traits, or they're not strong in you, or some of these negative traits or things that bring challenges are strong in you, you are not doomed to failure. These things can really be changed. For example, if you're inflexible, and that comes from something inside that you believe about yourself that is probably not true, about dangers that you see out there that probably are not real risks. People that are pessimistic, they stay away from risk. It's the fear that if you fail, the risks are so high that you won't survive them, and but looking at the reality of them, and that takes inside work, personal work. The consequences of the past that we bring forward in our lives, they don't apply now. The beliefs that we believed as young children about ourselves and about the risks of doing something wrong, and the disciplines that we receive from parents or in school, they don't apply now. But often we carry them forward because, well, our little children are in control. The truth is that you must be willing to look. You must really be willing to do the hard work, get yourself, a coach, or talk to clergy or professionals that can help you get through some of these things. Study emotional intelligence if you wish. You can read books by Daniel Goleman, and there are a lot of ways out there, like the book I suggested before, that can help you to move forward in a very, very positive way. So that's it. That's our look at the traits that bring success and challenges for traits.
Well, I'm going to the city and I'm gonna do a city show. And I know all my fans wanna learn how to make some dough. I've been